Anchors up, sails at full. Welcome to the SlooPcast. How are you doing today, Kyle?
Doing pretty well, Jared. We're here week 1 of college football. Get excited.
Get so excited. Here we go. Here we go. Kyle, I don't want to waste any time. We are picking 6 games against the spread today. I might release this one a little bit early. We normally release these shows on a Friday, but we're picking 2 Thursday games. Know that we are recording this on Tuesday. So in case this doesn't get released on Friday and we're about to predict 2 games that have already happened, if we release this on a Friday, know that we're living in the 29th. We're living in Tuesday. But I wasn't going to not pick these 2 games. But hey, I just might release it a tad bit early. How about that? How about that?
So let's jump into it. We got 6 games here.
Nebraska mini on Thursday. Yes, it is.
Yes, it is. And that is actually game 1 we are going to talk about. Nebraska and Minnesota. Jared's lovely Golden Gophers.
No, stop that. I don't.
We all know you love the Golden Gophers.
I
Jared.
do not. I love Goldie Gopher. I believe Goldie Gopher is a S tier mascot. I say this though, F tier color combo.
That's true. Yes.
Yeah. A tier mascot, F tier color combo. Nebraska clean.
Mm-hmm.
It's red, it's white. Uniforms are simplistic and classic. We're talking uniforms right now. That's what we're doing. I said, Kyle, let's not screw around. Now I'm screwing around because it's what we do here. But that being said, their big Husker mascot, the one that's the little kid, but he's a little kid, but he's also like 7 feet tall. And I think he's inflatable and I hate it.
He's like Big Boy.
He does. He looks like Frisch's Big Boy.
Yes. All right. So Thursday kickoff on
Can't wait
Fox.
to see Matt Rule bomb. I think Matt Rule will do fine in Nebraska. Yeah. I don't think that's going to be this season though.
So this game is Thursday on Fox at 8 p.m. And when we locked in our pick'ems here, Minnesota is a 7.5 point favorite, Jared.
Yeah.
I'm not feeling Minnesota here to cover that 7.5. I think it'll be much closer here in week 1 here. So I'll pick Nebraska to cover in a very close game.
I'm going to pick Minnesota to win and cover. I think Nebraska will make strides this season. I think they'll be decent, at least decent next year. But as far as week 1 of this season goes, they're just not it yet. And they have some bad talent deficiencies, especially in the trenches. Like Nebraska's offensive and defensive lines are not great. Minnesota's offensive and defensive lines are actually pretty good. And Kyle, we were talking just last episode about like, how do the new clock rules affect a football game?
Yep.
Minnesota has the opportunity to, totally own the time of possession in this football game. I like Minnesota to win and cover.
Yeah. A lot more faith than what I have for Minnesota, especially
it's more of a lack of faith in Nebraska, if we're being
especially clear. With Ibrahim leaving last year. Like who does Minnesota have this year?
A real decent lines. This is a line matchup, Kyle. You can talk about the skill positions all you want. I'm making this pick based off of straight up Minnesota's offensive and defensive lines being vastly superior to Nebraska's offensive and defensive lines.
Fair enough. All right. Woody in our Discord is our guest picker this week here, and he's going to pick alongside with us here. And he has here for the Nebraska and Minnesota game, take the Huskers and the points. Minnesota will win, but without their star running back and a new QB. Former Georgia Tech quarterback Sims won't be much better through the air, but has wheels. Don't look for a lot of scoring on this windy Thursday night game unless the defenses do it. He has a final score of 24-17. That is a Big Ten score right there.
And by the way, I think he's in the ballpark. I mean, I'm picking Minnesota to cover, but like 28-14 or 28-17, 24-10. Like I feel like he's in the correct area of what this final score ends up being. I totally agree. Yeah. For the most part.
Right. So the other game that's happening Thursday night here on ESPN, same time, 8 p.m., Florida and Utah. Utah had a chance to beat Florida last year and should have, but did not. Well, they have the chance to redeem themselves this year. Utah is a 6.5-point favorite in this game, Jared. And I'm going to ask you, Jared, why is it only 6.5 points?
Because SEC.
Okay.
Whether that be perception or reality, we'll find out. Right? We'll find out.
So
it's
kind of hinted that that's my pick here. I got the Utes, the original U, to cover in this game.
Yeah. I agree. I think Utah is a very good team this year. They're not playoff good. I don't think they're not, in my opinion, win the Pac-12 good. But I don't like Florida this year at all. He's graduated, Kyle. He's past it. See, I told you. Oh, I called that. Austin straight up says, "Who cares?" He's got his degree. He's out. But yeah, I'm picking Utah. By the way, I totally called Austin's. That's I've already won.
All right. Well, let's hear what. Well, who do you got? Did you?
Utah winning cover.
One? All right, Woody here. I'm taking the home team, the Utes, with 6.5, with or without quarterback rising. The backup is no slouch. Buckeye fans will recall the Rose Bowl, and Florida's defense of backfield will be shredded, and the offense rely on a guy called Mertz. Enough said. Utes cover 31-20.
Yeah. That's a good call. I didn't forget about Mertz, but man, I was so high on Mertz when he first came out of high school.
Yeah.
We're
just going to move on to the next game here. Boise State and future Big Ten team Washington going at it.
Washington feels super Big Ten to me for whatever reason.
Yeah. This Saturday, 3:30 ABC. Washington is a 14.5-point favorite. And Jared, that is not enough because our favorite Discord fan favorite quarterback is going to run up the score in this game, and it will not be close. Yeah. I got Washington to cover.
Penix is going to run it up. He's a real hard-nosed player. Won't be slouching in this game at all. He knows how to rise to the occasion. Watch out, he's coming.
Well said, Jared. Well said. All right. And Woody here. I want to pick the underdog in 14.5, but the weather is going to be great for Penix, and his fleet of returning playmakers should run wild. The D front on the Huskies look to be the best in the Pac-12, or the Pac-4, so they should get plenty of pressure and cause havoc in that Bronco backfield. Huskies start their run towards the Pac-12 title this Saturday, 42-23.
I think Boise's still riding off of. It's not the number is not anywhere big enough. I think Boise is still cashing in on stuff they did a long time ago at this point, as far as their
Was that back in
credibility is
2008?
concerned.
Was that 2008?
I mean, they had several good years, but it's just those several good years are in the past at this point.
Yep. All right. Next up here, we have the Battle of the Carolinas, North Carolina and South Carolina, 7:30 on ABC. I don't know this South Carolina team, and I don't know this North Carolina team either. But I do know, Jared, when in doubt, you pick the quarterback.
That's right.
And so I'm going to pick UNC here, and 2.5 points is pretty much a pick 'em here. So I'll go with the Tar Heels in this game. And by the way, it's a neutral field. Essentially, it's neutral field in Charlotte here, but it will still be heavy North Carolina favored fans in that stadium. But yeah, hey, I'll pick the Tar Heels to cover.
One, I co-sign everything you said. Amendment to something you said. I hate neutral site games. Best thing about college football is the atmosphere. Why are you playing in a dead corporate NFL stadium?
Mm-hmm. Woody says here, this is a toss-up. I'll give the edge to South Carolina with the 2.5 points, only because they are hosting. These two offenses will shred the opposing defenses in a shootout. Take the over, even if it's 65. I don't even know what the over-under is there. Let me quickly look that up here. If I can find it. It's 7:30, right? Yeah, 7:30. Where's that game at? There it is. The over-under in this game, Jared, is 64.5. Wow, yeah, you're right on there. Yeah, 65.
Yeah, I would take the over on that as well. But, don't real life gamble.
Oh boy, Jared. Really picked this game here? Our next game here.
I also picked 2 Thursday games, if that tells you the options I had.
Sunday, Jared, noon on CBS. Another Big Ten game on CBS. Northwestern and Rutgers.
Yeah, buddy.
I don't even know what to say about this, Jared.
It's week 1, and the number of options I had for a Power 5 team against the Power 5 team was very limited.
All right. So Rutgers is favored by 6.5 points, Jared. But the bigger question here, though.
Yeah.
What do you think the over/under is?
Ooh. Oh, I actually, what do you put it in his? It's 40.5, which is. He has it in his answer.
I'm going to take the under. I'll take the under on that one.
But Kyle, I think you're missing the bigger picture here. There is a bigger picture. The loser of this game is probably the worst team in the Big Ten. Like, do you want to be
Indiana may have something to say about that, though.
I agree. They very well might. And I know Indiana will play Rutgers. I don't know if they play Northwestern or not, and don't look it up because I honestly don't care. But we'll this could be for the crown for the worst team in the Big Ten, and I think that there's something significant to that. Now, as far as the spread goes, I'm just picking the underdog on this one. Both of these teams are bad. Here, okay. Let me put this as succinctly as I can possibly put this. All right.
Sure.
Never pick Rutgers minus 6.5. Done.
I
do think Rutgers wins this game. I do think Rutgers wins this game, but I'm not picking Rutgers minus 6.5.
You're not wrong. But I have something very similar to that. I have Northwestern to cover here, but yeah, it's going to be a low scoring game. Even though Rutgers may look like they're in control here and definitely should win the game, I think it's just going to look close because it's going to be such a low scoring game. But yeah, I'll give Northwestern cover, but Rutgers will win.
Yeah. And I think it'll also be interesting to see just like who is Northwestern right now. When you have the sort of off season that Northwestern had, one of two things typically happens with a football team. They either are ripped to shreds from the inside and they're going to sleepwalk through the season just to get it over with, or they congeal and come together and, you know, maybe play above. But because so many of these issues came from inside the locker room, I don't. A lot of times when you see a team deal with adversity and, like I said, sort of do that come together, hurrah sort of thing, that's normally when they're being acted on by outside forces. But this all happened internally, which makes me think that we're going to see a very, 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 very bad Northwestern this year.
Yep. All right. And the last game. Oh, nope. Woody's pick here. He says this is the toughest game to figure. Rutgers should win the game, being at home, and Shiano being on in his 4th or 5th year against a program in chaos with an interim head coach.
Yep.
But they have a junior college offensive line patched together with a young quarterback.
Also true.
Take the under at 40.5, but take Northwestern and the 6.5. He has Rutgers 19-17.
I think that's pretty apt. I think that's a pretty solid summation.
All right, and the last game here, Jared, we have LSU and Florida State. This is the biggest game of the weekend here, Sunday, 7:30 on ABC. And LSU is a 2.5 point favorite in this game. This is one of your favorites, Jared, here. It's in a neutral site location here, but it's in Florida here. So, yeah.
Where
Florida State?
Where in Florida?
Orlando.
Do we know that the game is happening? Spikes is still in the chat. Spikes, you're a Florida man. Is this game happening as planned? Do you think so? I don't know. I've seen a lot of predictions about the hurricane that's coming in from the Gulf as all. I see some people talking about it being like horrible, and I see other people talking like it's totally overblown, and I just don't know who's right in that situation.
I think it'll play.
Spike says it'll be gross. So assuming that there is an it, I think that means that he thinks it's going to happen. It's not as bad as previous ones. Yeah. I saw one newscast call it like once in a lifetime storm. And I'm just like, okay, chill. Like, no, like this is not, it's chill. Like it's not, I hate hyperbole, I think is all I'm going to say about that.
So it's going to go up the Panhandle up by, if it's in Tallahassee. Okay. Maybe we'll talk a little bit more here, but
okay. And granted, I'm not watching the storm super closely. I have many hyper focuses in my life. Weather's not one of them, but the last I saw it was going like across the state more. So obviously the trajectory has changed since the last time I've looked at it.
It always does. Yep. So either way, back to LSU, Florida State here. LSU a 2.5 point favorite here. A lot of people really like this Florida State team. A lot of people like this LSU team too. And I think may find out a lot about who each what each team is and if any of them is a pretender this year. I mean, kind of like what we've seen previous years where it was like Alabama versus USC. USC come in and like, oh, are they really good this year? And Alabama just blows them out, or whatever the case may be. Maybe we'll find out if
Georgia,
either team is the real team here. Yeah,
Georgia and Oregon.
Georgia and Oregon is another great example as well here. I just really like LSU's defensive line. I think they're going to play really nasty. And I think LSU is going to surprise not surprise, but it would not surprise me if they would win the SEC West Division this year.
It's in the realm of possibilities.
I think they're that talented, especially on that defensive side here. And I think their defense will keep them in a lot of these games to give LSU a chance to win, and I think they'll do the same here. So I'll take LSU to win and to cover the 2.5 points.
I'm gonna go LSU here. Florida State, and we talked about this extensively on Monday during our national preview episode. Florida State is just Texas to me. They're an insanely talented football team. But they just seem to disappoint every year. So I'll believe that Florida State is back when I see that Florida State is back. And up until I open the box and find out if the cat is dead or not, in this case, I'm just going to assume that the cat's dead. Until I see evidence otherwise, the cat's dead. LSU, we know, can put together good football teams. We've seen it. They know how to rise to the occasion and play in on a big stage. Florida State, we haven't seen that since Winston left.
Yep. All right. Woody here says a match worthy of a Sunday, maybe. I'll be pulling for Florida State, but with that said, I think this game, more than most, will be one up front, so expect a battle. He has LSU winning 34-29 with a drive to score in the final minute, so take LSU to cover, and I hope I'm wrong.
There you go. We predicted, so that's 6 games. We did also predict the Ohio State Indiana game in more detail on our previous episode. So that's the 7th game. Go listen to that episode if you want to hear our thoughts on that. Kyle, are there some questions you want to pick up? Anything from the Discord server? Nothing
in the related to the games, but if we're talking about college game day here, Nomad asks,
I'm honestly just, I'm just so over college game day. Where are they going? And
same here.
Who predicted what? And someone's going to say something that's going to get people mad. I'm just so over it.
Well, his question was is the subtraction of David Pollock an addition for college sports, and is the addition of Pat McCaffrey a subtraction for college sports fans?
The latter. Like, I'm not a David Pollock fan, never was, but he was fine. Like, if you're putting together what is supposed to be like one of the biggest studio shows in all of sports, which by ratings, so College Game Day at least was at one point, probably still is. It's like that, and is it the TBS NBA show with Shaq and all them? Like those are the most watched pregame shows in athletics, right? David Pollock was on a show surrounded by a lot of very talented, entertaining people, and he was just fine. Is how I feel about David Pollock. Pat McAfee's a clown.
Yeah, he's just that annoying guy in the background that tries to yell louder so people pay attention to him.
Yeah, it's just like, it's just, I'm right because I'm loud. I'm funny because I'm loud. I'm loud. Pay attention to me. And that's who Pat McAfee is.
Yep. All right. I think that's it for today here, Jared. Don't have any other questions here. I'm just looking through our chat here, and I think we're good here.
All right. As another reminder, I encourage everyone to come join our Discord server. It's really the only social media platform either Kyle and I are active on anymore. So if you want to talk to us, chat with us, come hang out with us. Like, I'm not trying to be like your only way to do that's the Discord server is like, but just honestly, just at this point, the only way to do that's the Discord server. I got real scared, Kyle, that it was going to click the leave button for a second. So come join the Discord server. We have a bot in the Discord server that allows us to pretend gamble with pretend coins. No actual money on the lines, but it's fun. It's for bragging rights. We also have the SlooPicks. All of the games that we do on the show also are in our CBS Sports Pick'em. So you can pick along with us and compete along with us. If you think, oh, they suck, I bet I could do better, come prove it. And by the way, the bar's not that high. You might be able to beat us. Kyle, if either of us ever like straight up won against in the public SlooPicks, I think we've come close, but I don't think we've ever actually.
I want to say I did maybe the first or second year we did that.
Doubt.
But we know it wasn't you.
No, it wasn't me. It wasn't me. The point being is that, like, if you think we suck and you can pick better, come join the Discord server where you can find the information to join the CBS Sports and then prove it. Prove it. That's all I'm gonna say. 5 new designs in our t-shirt store, Sloopcast, at merch.thesloopcast.com. There's a bunch of non-Ohio State, but maybe like legally speaking adjacent, but not Ohio State, but maybe just adjacent merch over at merch.thesloopcast.com. My lawyer is currently not in the chat, but I'm sure he would approve my phrasing there. Why did Siri decide that she needed to say something? You just got sued, Jared. They just get it taken down. They won't sue me. I don't make enough money for them to sue me. I don't make enough money to justify the salary of a lawyer writing a scary letter, let alone actually suing me. All right, Kyle. Anything in Kyle's corner?
We're bad podcasters because we didn't even mention this on Monday's episode. Ohio State had a big boom last week. We didn't even mention that. 5-star.
We hyper focus on recruiting during the wasteland, and then like once the season starts, we just kind of hit the parachute and
yeah. So 5-star. In case people did not hear this over a week ago, here you go. 5-star defensive lineman.
Late breaking news.
5-star defensive lineman Edric Houston, out of Georgia, commits to the Ohio State University. Yes, and LJ proving he still has it. And what was it? There was a video that was going around. Either he called LJ or LJ called him, and he said, "When you said I just lost it."
That's funny.
Yeah.
It's. But he's been in the pocket for a long time, right? Like that feels disingenuous if I'm being honest. But it's obviously a huge addition for Ohio State. Their first defensive end in the class. They'll need another one or two. But yeah, they're slowly but surely getting there on the defensive side. The offensive recruiting class looks good. They need another offensive tackle. So they need another offensive tackle. They need another defensive end. They need another safety. At least. I think there's some other guys who they would like to get who you would absolutely take onto the football team. Don't get me wrong. But if we're talking like must-haves, they need a dedicated offensive tackle in this class, a second dedicated offensive tackle in this class. They need a second safety. They need a second defensive end.
Yep. And I think that's it, Jared. I think that is it for our return of the SlooPicks.
Feels good to be back. So with all of that being said, tonight's ending band are once again the Raging Nathans. So now, with all that being said, I'd like to encourage everyone to drink local beer, listen to local music, and of course support your local podcasters. Once again, the Raging Nathans.